And rising violence is affecting communities nationwide. FBI Director Christopher Wray says that gangs nationwide are terrorizing neighborhoods, and well-known, quote, trigger pullers are finding their way back onto the streets after arrests. In New York City, overall crime increased by 31% compared to this time last year. That's according to the NYPD. Murders went up too by 34%. It's an issue that's put the city's mayor and governor at odds. In a recent press conference, New York City Mayor Eric Adams pushed back on the state's bail reform law, which allows criminals with gun possession charges to be released on bail. He says the criminal justice system is, quote, dangerous, awful, and insane. And he is demanding now the state revise the law to crack down on repeat offenders. So let's bring in retired NYPD Chief Wilbur Chapman to get his take. Chief Chapman, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Let's start with this current situation. How have things changed in your mind? And in your opinion, how bad are things now?
Well, people of the city of New York elected a retired police captain because they were concerned about the level of crime, and particularly concerned that the New York City Police Department was not being managed in a way by the previous mayor that was in the best interest of the people of the city. Unfortunately for this mayor, he started out with January and February, which are normally low incidence of crime months, resulting in a 30% increase. And the challenge now is during the warmer months, what exactly can be done to stem this tide of violence? As you previously said, gang violence is clearly driving part of the crime, and a lot of it has to do with recidivism, gang initiation, and the fact that the department has shifted somewhat over the last 8 years with the previous administration from being proactive and enjoining the people in the city by working with them to prevent crime, to being almost reactive in the sense of making arrests after the crime occurred. The primary purpose of policing, obviously, is to protect life and property and make sure that the people are safe. Once you focus on that, then you have a lower incidence of crime and you have less violence that people are subjected to. When you talked about Cincinnati just before, it was very interesting. There was an incident in the 105th precinct Friday night where there was concern about a large gathering and the possibility of violence. And the police department, NYPD, proactively deployed individuals out to monitor the situation so that if anything did occur, they would be able to protect those who were participating in the incident. And it turned out that they saw the 4 individuals who were going to fire guns and did fire weapons at that incident and arrested all 4 of them without citizens being hurt. That kind of proactive policing is very encouraging and is an indication that the department has understood the problem of increased violence and is working to diminish it.
I mean, it's great to highlight situations that do work. I want to ask, Mayor Adams also says that repeat offenders are a real issue here, as you alluded to as well. He said out of 2,400 shootings since last year, 716 suspects were behind 30% of those. So in your opinion, what does need to be done to address rising violence and crime?
Well, way back in the 90s, when we were faced with the crack epidemic and an increase in homicides, the department focused on what they called WOW, the worst of the worst, because it's clear that 90% of the crime is driven by about 5% of the population. So it's important for the department to take a good look, long look, and strategically deploy resources looking at those places and those individuals who are most likely to commit repeat crimes, and if they can't deter them, to apprehend them as quickly as they can if they commit crimes.
Thank you so much for your time, Chief Wilbur Chapman. Certainly appreciate your insights.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.